Hey, Yinz guys and gals, gather round for a journey like no other. It's time to hop on board the Where Yinz Goin podcast, proudly brought to you by Dreams by Design Travel. From the rivers that meet at the point to form downtown Pittsburgh to the furthest corners of the globe, that'll be your compass, your confidant, your companion in that as we explore the wonders of travel. Kick back, relax on your couch, and let the wanderlust wash over Yinz as we discover new horizons and reminisce about old favorites. With Dreams by Design Travel by our side, the sky's the limit. Join Matt on the Where Yinz Goin podcast because when it comes to travel, the journey's just getting started. And now, without further ado, let's give a shout for your guide through the highways and byways of travel, the man with a map, the voice of the steel city, Matt Trader.
How Yinz doing? Welcome to the Where Yinz Goin podcast. I'm Matt. I'm one of your hosts, and with me today is my awesome co-host Katie. So, Katie, how you doing today?
I'm doing great, Matt. How are you?
We're going to talk about Mardi Gras, so let's party.
It's called Let the Good Times Roll.
Exactly.
I would have said it in French, but you don't want to hear that because, no, not going to happen.
I studied Spanish in high school. I know how to count still.
Yeah.
I can say some things in Indonesian, so I don't know.
I only remember the swear words from my high school Spanish class. So I can tell you how great of a grade I got in high school Spanish.
Funny thing, in high school, we had a couple of foreign exchange students who were from Germany that came, and that was the first thing they learned were swear words. So it's not a new thing. It's not unique. So
That's right.
You're right up. You're number one in that realm.
Cultured in all different languages.
Cultured, yes. So as mentioned, we are going to talk about Mardi Gras at Universal Orlando, and it's officially titled Universal Mardi Gras International Flavors of Carnival. Or is that Carnival?
Love this. I love this event at Universal. I got to experience this with my family last year. We went in February and it was so much fun. I loved it. So I'm really excited to talk about it with everybody tonight.
So a little bit of the facts and figures is that it will be held at Universal Studios, Florida. It will go from February 1st through March 30th. So much for that one day of Mardi Gras you to experience normally. This is 2 months of Mardi Gras. So even better, it's included with your park admission. And the actual Mardi Gras will be on Tuesday, March 4th. And history on that is the last day of a 3-day carnival that's celebrated mostly in Central America, South America countries, but some other ones throughout the world as well. That that's their party getting up to right before Lent. Largely Catholic countries that will then have Ash Wednesday on the day after, so March 5th this year. That's a day of fasting and preparation for Easter and all that good stuff. But they really know how to party right before all that happens. So it's all right. We have stuff where we can't eat a whole lot and we have to worry about more prayers. So let's just do everything that's we're not supposed to. Complete revelry.
Yes. And this festival at Universal is it's so lively, so many colors, so much fun. It just it's not overwhelming, like it doesn't take over the parks, but it is just a really nice sprinkling of some of the fun that you would find at a Mardi Gras celebration somewhere fun too.
And it's PG rated, unlike some other Mardi Gras celebrations.
Yes.
Well, maybe bordering PG-13, but it's definitely not like most Mardi Gras celebrations. It's family friendly.
That's right.
So they do have a mascot, of course. It is King Gator. He wears purple and yellow crown and beads. Of course, you need your beads. And he will be part of one of the floats, and it's a giant gator. This is a big, big float that they have. And of course, there's merchandise available. But you might see the actual costume gator roaming around the park at times too.
The little they have like little stuffed animals and things like that that are kid friendly, and he's really cute. He's adorable, and they were selling them like crazy in the stores when we were there.
I kind of don't want to bring my little girl because I know we're getting, well, that means we have to get two of them, one for me and one for her, because of course I'm going to get one.
Yes.
And now, with any Mardi Gras celebration, you are going to have a parade. And so the floats that are designed and built for the Mardi Gras parade that's at Universal Studios Florida are built in partnership with Kern Studios, which creates the parade floats for the parade in New Orleans, or New Orleans, if you're going to say it properly.
And every year there are six new floats that come out that are designed with the theme of whatever they've decided for that year. So when the parade is over and the festival is over, they immediately go and they strip down these six floats and they go ahead and start to work on the brand new ones. And then there's also the additional floats that are they're there every single year. But last year's theme was wind, fire, sun, kind of the elements with lots of floral and things like that. It was really neat. These floats are incredible. I'm like, little secret about me, I'm not a huge parade fan. Like usually if I'm at a theme park and they're doing a parade, I'm like, let's go ride this ride and we'll go ahead and kind of take advantage of the less wait times. But this was so much fun. It is incredible. Even if you're just there just to see the work and craftsmanship of the parade floats themselves, the colors, the extra special touches, the just the little things that are just amazing. And then there's also the performers. They are so neat. Their costumes are incredible. It is really just one of those like it's an overwhelming explosion of colors and sights and sounds. It's really a great parade. Probably one of my absolute favorite ones that I've ever seen.
No, I've never been to some other countries to experience their carnival and their Mardi Gras and everything, but from everything I've seen with different, you know, movies or seeing it on TV or documentaries, whatever, I can't say that the Universal Parade is authentic, but it definitely captures the theme and the feel of it. That with and the colors is the biggest thing that stands out to me.
It's probably not authentic, but it had I mean it's very PG. There's nothing in it that you have to like shield your kids' eyes from or anything like that. And not that there's anything wrong with like a New Orleans Mardi Gras parade, it's just a cultural thing. And this is more like kid family friendly. But it has like it gives you like I think it is probably the best way to describe it is it's a little taste of Mardi Gras without making some of the decisions of whether or not this is going to be something that you can take your kids to, whether or not it's something you want to take your teenagers to. This is definitely one of these events that it's just so much fun. And there's so many, like I said, colors and really and truly just it has a like a liveliness to it. People are excited, they're happy. It is so cool to watch.
And again, you get the feel of what you would think a Mardi Gras parade should be, is what it is definitely going to give you with that. And the only thing I will say is that some of the costumes that the performers wear are somewhat scantily, they're somewhat scantily clad, but it's something that they're wearing nothing less than what you would see at a normal beach or a water park. It's bathing suit style. It's nothing that, is, showgirl Vegas type thing.
Right, they're completely covered. They're just covered in like a bikini would be the like the worst that you're gonna take and see.
Reminds me of, oh, this is probably back in the 90s, that it was an ESPN commercial that they were talking about when they had their ESPN, the magazine, and they were saying about the either swimsuit edition or something like that. And the one guy gets on, one of the athletes that they had, in this commercial, he goes, "It's nude, but tastefully done." So not quite nude, but it's
No,
tastefully done.
No, I wasn't, there was nobody around me that was offended or anything like that. I mean, really and truly, you start to watch these performers, the dancers, the stilt walkers, and you just get like, it just kind of it takes your breath away. And it just really is, it's really cool to watch how talented they are. They are extremely talented. These stilt walkers that are doing things on stilts that I've never witnessed before. I mean, they were really, really doing like amazing things. So,
They
and
do
it's
things
all
on
part of it would look kind of silly if they were dressed up completely covered in sweatpants and sweatshirts and stuff too.
and they do things on stilts that I can't do on the ground. So it says
Right.
something about their ability and my ability. So it's um of course it is a Mardi Gras parade, so you do get the chance to catch beads that are thrown from the floats. But unlike some other Mardi Gras, you do not need to repay the bead thrower like you would normally do it in New Orleans. And seriously, please do not repay the bead throwers like you do in New Orleans, okay? No flashing people here. Again, keeping this family friendly.
So when we went, we were right where they open the gates for where the parade starts. So the very first like steps that they take out, and they threw so many beads. I think we collected over 250 strings of beads. One of the really cool things is each float has colors that match the theme of the float that they're on. The beads match them. So, like the one that was a aquarium theme with dolphins and fish and stuff and ocean creatures, it had certain colors, and then the one that was the sun had the colors of the sun. So each set of beads that they throw has a color scheme that matches the parade floats.
When you were there, did you have a favorite of the floats?
I I really like the wind one. There was one, and I'm sure that that one is one of the six that will not be being displayed this year because it's not part of the theme. But I really liked the wind. It was really neat. They're just really bright and colorful, and they have like confetti cannons, and they just and there's also and I know we're going to talk about this. There's also the coolest part is that they let people take part in being on the parade float. So you have like families and couples and friends that are all in Universal together, and they decided to ride this float, and they get to be a part of the parade. So they're the ones that are throwing the beads and everything like that. And it was just really like, it was fun to kind of see their excitement from a different perspective. It was really neat. It was great.
Yeah, that's gonna be our next thing. We're gonna talk about it right after this. But the parade will take about 45 minutes from start to finish. So from when they first step off until the last person is done. But it will take about 15 minutes for it to pass any given location. And so think about what Katie said of getting like 250 strands of beads in 15 minutes. So that's pretty amazing. We can calculate the beads per minute rate on that.
Well, and it wasn't like a frenzy or anything that when we were there. It was just we actually left some on the ground. Like we could have collected a ton more. I have a picture that we took all of them and we made a wreath out of them. That we
Oh,
had
that's cool.
so many of them. It was really fun. And then we got to bring them home, and we ended up giving tons out to our nieces and stuff like that that are that age where play beads are the greatest part of dress up. So our nieces that are 3, 4, 5 that got to get a little part of the fun of the beads.
And just for those who are wondering, that's a rate of roughly a strand of beads every 3 to 4 seconds.
That's the mathematician in you, Matt.
Yes, indeed. And the places to watch it, it will start and end in the Hollywood area. So that's where Katie was camped out. So it loops around, it will finish roughly around where it started. And also in New York by Finnegan's Bar and Grill is another really good spot to watch because there's a little bit more room to move around and you can catch beads there. But like Katie said, when you're right there in the beginning, especially the people who are riding the parade, riding on the floats who don't normally do it, they're going to be excited and they're going to be tossing those beads. So if you wait to the end, you might not get quite as many as that nice bombardment in the beginning. So, but let's talk about actually riding on the float. So there's a couple ways that you can do this. One is that you can join a virtual queue on the Universal Orlando app, and the time isn't always set. It can be as early as about 3 o'clock p.m. It's usually about 1 to 2 hours before the parade starts. If you are selected, you can pick up a wristband at it has to be at least 1 hour before the parade. So don't wait too long because then they will open up more spots if people do not show up to get these wristbands. So if you don't get it in the first rush, keep checking the app and you might see some spots that open up later on.
These are
And
kind of coveted things though. Like just to give you a heads up, if this is something that you really, really want to do, then make plans for it because it is there are some times when they are completely like they're gone. They're just gone because it's something that people the fact that Universal lets guests be a part of the show, be an actual like on the floats is pretty amazing, right? I mean, there's not very many places that you can go and you can be an actual part, a participant in the parade and not just a viewer of it. And this is one of these really cool experiences that Universal lets you do. And so it goes quick. It's coveted, definitely.
anyone who's an annual pass holder, they have a registration just for them. So also, if you would like to become an annual pass holder, let us know. We can help you with that. But the way that is probably the most recommended is the Mardi Gras float, ride, and dine experience. So you could reserve a spot on the parade and you get a three-course meal. So right there, there's food involved. So how can you turn that down? You get the experience of being on a parade and you get a really good meal. I think Katie's sold. She has that look on her
I,
face.
I was just thinking about the fact that, yeah, because you're going to have to make room because the food during this is so good. It is so good. It is, yeah, it's fantastic.
We'll give you a rundown of some of the places where you can eat in a little bit. But with that three-course meal, you get your appetizer, your entree, and a dessert. There are also the non-alcoholic beverages for each person, and you can choose from the full menu at whatever restaurant you're gonna pick. They have different prices, so Monday through Thursday is one, then Friday through Sunday is a different price. And anyone who is a Universal Orlando pass holder can save 15% on that. So more reason to become a pass holder. And I guess whenever you have that annual pass, it kind of, you just kind of have to go to Orlando, Universal Orlando more often. I know it's such a chore, but the things you do, right?
Universal is going to be a hot ticket this upcoming year. There's going to be so many things to go and see and do that they're really an annual pass might be your best way to experience all of it so that you can see everything.
Dad joke warning. So you could say that this year is going to be epic at Universal.
Yeah, I think it is going to be epic.
And if you wait until the next episode of the podcast, that's what we're going to talk about. So we're going to talk about Epic Universe later on. So, but with the ride and dine experience, the parade will start at different times throughout the time that it runs, and depending on the day of the week and just a couple other things. So the dining times will vary based on whenever the parade's going to start. And they're basically about an hour and 45 minutes before whenever the parade starts is whenever you get to actually go and sit down and have your meal. So for a 5:15 parade start, the dining will be at 3:30. So I guess we don't want to call it dinner, depending on when you eat your dinner. 6:45, or excuse me, 6:15 parade dining is at 4:30. At the 7:30 parade, it's at 5:45, and then the 7:45 parade dining will be at 6 o'clock. And the 7:45 parade is usually Saturdays, and there's going to be a concert right after the parade. So they kind of coincide that they want the um, parade to start later on, so it can roll right into the concert, and so it gets the crowd there, and it's just one festive atmosphere thing after another.
These dining times are great because then that means that you're going to have time to sit down, actually enjoy that meal, not feel like you're rushed, and get to the spot that your meeting spot for the parade, and kind of get the rundown of the rules and the regulations that they have and the things that they want you to do. It's kind of nice to have that amount of time to actually sit and enjoy the meal instead of feeling like you're rushed for something that you've paid for, and you want to make sure you get both the meal and the parade experience and not feel like you're running from one to the other.
And now the restaurants that they have are in Universal Studios Florida, Islands of Adventure, and Universal City Walk. So you have your pick of a couple different places to go to and several different really good places to eat. So in Universal Studios Florida, it's at Finnegan's Bar and Grill and Lombard Seafood Grill. And so, it's gonna be. I think eating at Finnegan's is kind of like a surreal thing of you're gonna be in the restaurant looking out like in about an hour and a half, we're gonna be right there on the parade. And as you're going by, it's like, hey, we just ate there. And if you're traveling with a larger party and someone doesn't want to be on the float, they can just come out of Finnegan's and just camp out. Reserve your spot to watch the parade. Especially after eating there, you just want to sit down anyway and relax. Although Lombard Seafood Grill, oh, the seafood there.
It's really
I mean,
good.
and this is one of your Instagram restaurants too, that not only is it's awesome seafood, but the look of it. I mean, if you see some of these pictures, it just makes you hungry. In Islands of Adventure, it's at the Confisco Grill. So noticing a theme here with grills, right? So now, if you are going to dine at Confisco Grill, though, since it is in Islands of Adventure, you do need your park ticket to get into Universal Studios Florida that day. You do need a park to park ticket for that if you're going to choose that place to dine. So just keep that in mind.
And Matt, what else can you get with a park to park ticket? What else is one of those things that is a only if you can only ride it if you have a park to park ticket?
And this is one of the greatest things that even if you don't plan on going to both parks in a day, to get the park to park ticket because you get to ride the Hogwarts Express.
Yes, and if you are at all a wizard, you are going to want to see this. This is so incredible. It's just really cool. And I know, like with some of my clients and stuff like that, I know that they're like, well, we're not sure if we're going to be able to do both parks in one day and blah. But the thing is that honestly, you don't want to miss this. And this is the way that Universal does it. And it is great. It is so much fun. And it's kind of one of those extra little like bonuses. If you buy a park to park ticket, you get to go ahead and ride Hogwarts Express. And it's so cool.
And Katie said if you're a wizard, you're going to enjoy it. Even if you're a muggle, you will enjoy it. And if you're one of those people who has no idea what a muggle is, yes, that means you're going to enjoy it. You do not need to be a Harry Potter fan to enjoy that experience. It is just so well done with the theming of it and the immersiveness of riding that train that I'm not a big Harry Potter fan. I've seen a couple of the movies, maybe one of them all the way through in one sitting. I've read, a little bit of one of the books. It missed me in that time of life, my time of life whenever they came out. But going to, well, the Wizarding World of Harry Potter, whether it's going to be Hogsmeade in Islands of Adventure or Diagon Alley in Universal Studios Florida, or the Hogsmeade they have out in Universal Studios Hollywood, they are fabulous.
They're really cool.
It's kind of like Galaxy's Edge in the Disney parks, is that you don't need to be a Star Wars fan to enjoy those. Or
Well, and I was going to say, even if you're not a huge Harry Potter fan, go and check these places out and kind of just sit back and watch the people that are, because their like joy and excitement, it is so well done that they really do feel like they're part of the story. And so it's kind of contagious. And you get to kind of experience that for yourself, even if you're not a huge fan. There's something about being in a group of huge fans that you kind of find yourself going, wow, this is as great as they think it is.
oh, the people watching is really, really good, especially if you can find. So I think everyone knows that you can buy the magic wands there. And then in different parts throughout the different Harry Potter areas, you can move your wand around and you can make things happen. And so you can actually do some magic there. And seeing especially little kids and their faces light up whenever they actually get to do it and they get something to work, it is so amazing. And even if you watch some not so little kids who are just huge Harry Potter fans, they get a big kick out of it too. So it's very entertaining. It's definitely worth going.
I liked it. We had a good time.
And remember, the wand picks the wizard.
This is true. Sometimes the wallet picks the wizard too.
Definitely. That's definitely true. So in Universal City Walk, there's several places you can eat. There's the Cowfish Sushi Burger Bar. Try saying that 3 times fast. But that's at such a great, unique location that you can get pretty much anything you want, of whether it's seafood, whether it's the whole surf and turf stuff. It's wherever you want to pick it from. They have some really good stuff there. There's the NBC Sports Grill and Brew. There's Antojitos, authentic Mexican food. Bob Marley, Bob Marley A, or Bob Marley, a tribute to freedom. And then Pat O'Brien's. And now those last three, it's only for dinner, so just the later start times, not the earlier ones. So just be aware of that whenever you're picking. They might not all be available for the time, depending on when your parade is going to be.
And in case you are visiting Universal Studios for the first time and you're like, oh, these restaurants, I've got to step outside of the park to get to them. The City Walk area is centrally located. You actually walk through it in order to go to either Islands of Adventure or the Universal Studios Florida. Um, and so it's just right there. And so it's really easy to get to. The restaurants are super they're just super conveniently located. So, and it actually, if you choose some of these for your dining experience, it's kind of a nice little break, kind of catch your breath. Um, and then you can go back into the park super easy. Not a long walk at all.
And for those of you who are primarily Disney fans, Universal Orlando is very different from Walt Disney World. So it is a lot more compact that, as Katie said, you have your two parks right next to each other, and then Universal City Walk connects the two right in the middle. So if you don't want to ride Hogwarts Express, of course, that's nobody out there because everybody wants to ride Hogwarts Express. You can walk from the entrance of one through City Walk to the other. And if you are not staying at one of the Universal Orlando hotels, whenever you go and you park, and you will walk, as Katie said, through City Walk in order to get to whichever park you're going to.
But let me just jump in there and say that it is, I think the Universal hotels and resorts are kind of not, I don't know that people understand how great they are. We stayed at Cabana Bay when we went. They are so much fun. It makes it so convenient. You don't have to park. You don't have to like get out and do the whole thing. They have transportation to and from the resorts. It's really nice. And a lot of the times, like our packages that we can put together for you and bundle together, it actually makes more sense economically and more feasible for you as a family, even if it's just to get some of those extra little benefits and perks for staying with a Universal Resort hotel.
And that's going to be another episode in the future, especially whenever we talk about the premier resorts and the benefits and perks you get from there, because it's really nice, and the resorts are just amazing. And Cabana Bay Beach Resort, I love that place. The theming on that of kind of like the retro 1950s 1960s thing. It just
It
it
is so
it
much fun.
reaches me. It
Yeah,
just reaches me.
so it's so much fun. And the fact that there's a walkway to Volcano Bay that's it's just a short little hop, skip, and jump away. It's so nice.
Oh, and the views from some of the rooms that you can see from
Mhm.
Volcano Bay. Oh my gosh, it's definitely worth it. So, back to the parade. So, back on track. You must ride the float the same day as the meal. So, it's all one day thing. and you will get credentials and a check-in time at the restaurant after you have your meal. So you're gonna feel like Wayne and Garth from Wayne's World, whenever they do the backstage at the Alice Cooper concert, holding up their little backstage passes to everyone to show off. So I know whenever I've gotten like special treatment on stuff like this, or I've done one of the backstage tours and I get the little credential, I'm holding it up and showing everybody. The check-in will be at Animal Actors on location. So that's always where you're going to be. But depending on what time the parade is, then they'll tell you specifically, okay, make sure you're here at this time. Now, some restrictions about riding on the floats is that you must either be at least 18 years old or accompanied by a legal guardian who's 18 or older. And of course, I like how they say, accompanied by a legal guardian age 18 or older. But can you have a legal guardian who's under 18?
I'm sure you can, but I don't think
They have it in there for a reason, I guess. The
probably.
lawyers came
I
through
don't think
that.
this podcast is what we want to discuss about that. So,
So anyway, the come on, keep moving. There we go. Having some technical difficulties with the agenda here. So there are another restriction is that all the riders must be at least 48 inches tall. So be aware of that. And that's a safety issue just so that you're moving on these uh the floats as you go through the parade. So there are, safety systems where you can have to hold on or be strapped in, things like that. So it's like going on a normal
kind of
ride type thing.
barriers, like kind of like just a little barrier that is on the sides of these floats and stuff like that. And you would want to be at least that tall so you could see over them. Otherwise, you're
Mhm.
just kind of looking at a wall.
And then people can't see you, so it's not as much fun for them either. You do have to sign a waiver, so be aware of that. Make sure you read through it. You don't want to sign away, your life or anything. I'm kidding. They would not do that. Standard thing. Um, Riders also must be able to board the floats and stand for the duration of the parade. So you do have to climb up some steps to get on top of these. So mobility issues, be aware that they are not always friendly for those who can't get around so well. And another thing that's not required but definitely appreciated is having a good arm because you're gonna be tossing those beads a lot.
Yep, but they're also very kind of strict about the fact that they don't want them like launched at people's heads and stuff like that. This is not a like chance for you to get out any of the aggression with the beads. So lots of underhand tosses. Think softball, not baseball.
Yeah, but uh, you get about 100 bead necklaces to throw. Um, so you are gonna be tossing a good bit. So that's again, you need the strong arm at least. Well, you need the stamina. That's what I'm
Yeah.
looking for. So it's the marathon, not a sprint type thing.
And the really cool thing about being at the spot where the parade starts is that they have them draped on their arms. And so they're heavy and you can see the fact that maybe they would want to get rid of some of their beads a little quicker because it's a good old like little arm workout too. I
There, see,
loved this parade. I really did. Like I could have watched it over and over and over again. It is so much fun. The music, we got the chance when we were there, we were actually next to some Universal workers. And so some of the parade people that were taking part in the parade, they recognized their friends that worked at the studios as well. And it was really neat to watch how excited they were and how they were cheering on their friends and how it is very, very lively. It's just so much fun. And it makes you feel like you're a part of, I I don't know that I would ever go to New Orleans for Mardi Gras, but after seeing how cool this was and how neat the parade is and just how excited people are, I don't know that I wouldn't now. It's just so much fun. I can't even like it's hard to even explain it. It was my favorite part of our trip. And we had a wonderful time. We did so many fun things, but this parade was like just something kind of unexpected, something that you don't necessarily think of when you think of Universal. Um, but so worth your time. And here's the thing, this is what's happening right now. There's a lot of people that are saying, I don't know if I want to do Universal because in May, Epic's going to open. And I don't know. This is something that if you're thinking about doing Universal, maybe you don't want to deal with the huge, massive crowds that guaranteed are going to follow the opening of Epic. Epic is going to be amazing. It's going to be so great. But why not book a trip before? Kind of check this out. Do Mardi Gras. Get with us. We'll help you make your reservations. We'll help you make it incredible. And then you get a little taste of how amazing Universal is. And then you can swing back and go again when Epic opens a little bit later on, maybe like in the fall or something like that. And you can experience it from a whole new point of view. Because I really do think, like, because of when this is happening, because when Mardi Gras happens with Universal, the crowds are a little bit less. And here's the great thing, the Florida heat is also less. It is so pleasant. You actually need, like when we were there, we actually needed a jacket, like a little sweatshirt, like hoodie was just something we carried with us because it's not cold, it's not miserable, but it's just the nice little like temperature where you're not sweating, you're actually going and doing things and going, this is great because I'm not so hot that I'm kind of miserable.
And this is the time where you carry the little sweatshirt or the jacket because it's chilly on the outside, not because the air conditioning is far too powerful on the inside.
Or if you're smart, you don't carry a sweatshirt or a jacket, and then you end up with a really nice new sweatshirt or jacket with the Mardi Gras theme on it because you stopped by the shop.
There was a certain time that we were down there in December, and on one of the water rides, I sort of got a lot wetter than I wanted to. And so I needed a sweatshirt. And so we bought a sweatshirt, and it now stays in the car, and it's the emergency sweatshirt that we need whenever it's too cold otherwise. And it gets a frequent usage. So
Yes.
it's
And for people that are not from Florida, 50 degrees in Florida, it's cold. Like 50 degrees in February in Utah is, we throw on our short sleeves and start thinking about how are we going to get our tan on for the day. It is cold in Florida. That humidity in the air makes it a little bit chillier at 50 degrees. So bring a
yeah.
sweatshirt or the use some of your villain nefarious plans and don't bring a sweatshirt and then complain that you're cold that you need a new one.
Or whenever your husband buys one, then you say, "Hey, I'm chilly. Can I have your sweatshirt?" And then you steal it off him, like a certain person I'm
Right.
married to has done on several occasions. So,
We
um,
all go to the same, we go all go to the same training for that.
I have three sisters, so I knew it was coming. Now, another nice thing to build on what Katie said of going to Universal before, the craziness is that up until whenever Epic Universe opens, there are some really, really good deals, as in like buy one, get one free type things with the tickets. So you can get it's a real good bang for your buck.
And I honestly, this isn't like, so no, if you go before Epic opens, are you going to experience Epic? No, but this isn't lesser. People have been going to Universal forever now. These are great theme parks. They are very well themed. They have tons of fun things for little ones all the way up to older people. And there's so many things to see and do. So you're not going to have a lesser experience. You're just, if you go now, you're just not, you're going to be able to see the parks without the crowds and experience them and make sure that you're ready to go back when Epic opens.
And if you'd like to learn more about having a good time in Universal with your kids, we did an episode on that back in, oh, maybe August, I want to say. And especially with the new DreamWorks lands, that is very much geared towards kids. So they really added a lot of stuff that it's still things that adults and older kids will enjoy, but it's stuff that the little kids are really going to gravitate to. And the other nice thing about going to Universal now is that, whenever you book your trip with us, that Katie and I can give you all these wonderful tips and advice and things to look for and to do and to think about and whatever else. But it's not until you're actually there that you really get a real, you get your on the job training type of thing. It's the thing they say in college that, the things that you learn in the classroom are great, but it's not until you get out into your real job that you really learn things. That whenever you're down there, you really get an idea of, how far are the distances and what are your favorite ride to go on and where's your favorite place to eat. So the next time you go down, when it is maybe a little bit more crowded, you have your game plan ready.
Right. It's kind of like the pregame practice.
Preseason type thing, yeah. Although I think this one counts anyway because you're still gonna have the memories and the fun.
Yes.
So let's get back to talking about food because it's
Yay.
food. So Katie's on board. The general theme is go beyond the bayou. So you're gonna get the sweet, spicy, and savory foods from around the world. And of course, there's Cajun foods that are available. So you're going beyond the bayou, but there's still stuff from the bayou.
I think it's easy to get caught up in the fact that you're only going to get to experience food from New Orleans, and that's not the case. This is kind of an international food festival with a lot of different choices, a lot of different places that all celebrate the fun of the carnival season.
And that goes back to the title for it. It's the International Flavors of Carnival. So it's telling you right there that you're going to get things from all over the world. And they have booths set up that are going to have little specialties from their countries. And just a quick rundown of some of the ones that were there from last year. They haven't released the full list for this year yet, at least at the time of recording. That there's Belgium, so Belgian waffles, maybe. And hey, French fries were created in Belgium too. There's Brazil, Canada, so there got to be some poutine in there. China, Colombia, France, Germany, Italy, Mexico, the Philippines, Puerto Rico, even though it's kind of part of the United States, it's a territory. Spain, Thailand, and then you do have your New Orleans stuff, and there's even New Orleans desserts.
Right, there's a big controversy last year. So last year with the New Orleans desserts, they took the king cake and they substituted like kind of like a bundt cake, like a little mini bundt cake, still with the baby in the center of it, and it had like a cinnamon swirl, but it wasn't authentic king cake. And the year before, it was an authentic king cake, and so there's like a big like kind of ripple. Are they going to continue with the bundt cake, or are they going to actually bring back the king cake and make people happy again? But here's the thing, if you're not a king cake fan, or you don't want to be a part of the hullabaloo over the king cake, the beignets are amazing. They are so good.
And if you've listened to this podcast before, Katie is definitely a beignet fan
A
and
connoisseur, I like to say.
oh yeah, that's more accurate, yes. And just donuts in general are kind of her thing. So Katie knows her
I know my
pastry based
pastries.
desserts. Yeah.
Yeah, I know my pastries. These are really good. These are great.
And do you think the king cake controversy is a conspiracy, kind of like the new Coke type thing that
I don't know. I know that like the king cake from 2 years ago was like it was massive. It was huge. And so I think that they probably like sized down to the little buntlets kind of a size to give people a chance to actually eat it all, because they probably were able to sell more individual pieces than like this massive king cake. But from what I understand, you don't mess with people's king cakes. Like it's a tradition, a Mardi Gras tradition, and you don't mess with it. But I will take neither side of the king cake controversy because both of them looked absolutely delicious to me. Have you had king cake before, Matt?
I have not, and it's one of the things that I really can't have anymore. So,
Uh,
but
I've had it. I'm not a huge fan of it, but I've never really had like authentic king cake. So maybe I can't really pass my opinion of what a king cake really is like.
So the solution for this is a road trip that we take to the actual Mardi Gras in New Orleans, and then we can try the real king cake, and then you can compare,
Compare and
and,
contrast.
and you can, sounds like an essay from grade school.
Yep.
So beyond just the food, there's also the French Quarter Bar, the Bloody Mary Bar, and the Coca-Cola Market Square.
I went to the Coca-Cola Market Square to grab a Coke before we started the parade, and there's something about like a Coke, like an ice cold Coke in the middle of a theme park that it tastes so good. I don't know what it is. I'm sure like the syrup ratio isn't probably as high, but there's something about it sounds like a Coke ad, right? There's something about drinking a Coke in the middle of a theme park making memories.
So my mom used to be a big, and it's so controversy here. Speaking of controversies, what do you call the soft drinks?
What do we call soft drinks here?
Yes.
Or sodas.
It's pop.
So here's a little Utah trivia for you. So in Utah, we have soda shops, and they are soda shops that are just for sodas, but they mix them with all kinds of different flavors and like add-ons and stuff, and they're catching on in other places. We have Swig, and we have Twisted Sugar, and we have Fizz, and you go and you order, like, one of the big things is a dirty diet Dr. Pepper. So it's a diet Dr. Pepper mixed with lime and coconut and cream mixed all together. And yeah, it's so good.
So
It's
it's like those old-fashioned malt shops type things.
yeah, yeah. And then there's one, like, my favorite one is called a Huck Finn. So it's you can put it with regular Dr. Pepper or Coke, and it's boysenberry flavor, huckleberry flavor, and coconut.
You had me at Dr. Pepper.
They're really good. They're really good. Anyways, back to our regular scheduled program.
Okay, and talking about that, let's talk about entertainment. So they have the French Quarter Courtyard. How about that for a tongue twister? That's in the New York area of Universal Studios, Florida. They have live music from real Louisiana jazz and Zydeco bands. I'm waiting for them to come with the Utah Jazz Band.
Yeah, they just
Right.
dribble.
The rides are open during this whole event, and they usually have shorter wait times. So if you are there for multiple nights, and the first night you go and see the parade and you collect all the beads that you need, then the next night, whenever the parade goes on during that 45 minutes, that's when you do Katie's normal parade plan of, hey, let's go ride rides whenever the lines aren't quite so long. Katie also mentioned about the stilt walkers. Again, amazing. Just the grace, the beauty and grace of them on the stilts. It's
When these kids are like fun, they're like just lively and fun, and there's so many like it's kind of one of those ones where they walk by you and your mouth, you have to like pick your mouth up and pick your jaw up off the
uh,
ground. They're just so cool. Like, and it's amazing what they can do and how easy they pose for great pictures, and it really is. It's really fun.
and then there's characters, and as Katie mentioned, they're in such colorful costumes, and as we said, there can sometimes be a little revealing, but tastefully done. That although um, on all the parade or all the things you see around Christmas with the Radio City Rockettes and like the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade and things like that, that there's a beauty, the beauty and the grace of it. That's just an appreciation of beauty and grace, nothing beyond that. That you also get with these costumes down in the Mardi Gras thing. That it
Well, these are like
fits.
real performers. They're not just like somebody that they've just decided, like, hey, today we're going to pitch on a set of stilts. Good luck, buddy. Like they're real performers that have practiced and worked really, really hard, and dancers and things like that. This is not like your run of the mill, just like county fair kind of entertainment. They really are incredible. The bands, it really is so it feels just very like a party atmosphere. And it feels like everybody's really happy to be there and celebrating.
And something to make you even more happy and feel like celebrating is live music. So this is beyond the Louisiana Jazz and Zydeco bands that they have the music at the Music Plaza stage in Universal Studios Florida, and that's usually on Saturday nights, as I mentioned before. They have a really diverse group of musicians from pop to rock to country, Latin. The music begins after the parade, and so this is on Saturdays whenever the parade usually starts at 7:45. So 45 minutes worth of run. That's 8:30. That's when the music starts. Really neat thing about being at the music whenever you're watching the music is that you can mobile order food to be delivered to you. So if you get hungry while you're rocking out, just I guess they have some of the people who deliver it. I guess they just crowd surf over to you, in the middle of the mosh pit type thing.
Well, these are like artists and stuff like that that you recognize. For the most part, like the list from last year were people they're not like they're not like, hey, do you want to come to Universal? Nobody really knows who you are, but come on and play your trombone. These are actually really great like artists that you recognize. They might not, some of them aren't the most current, but they're great like flashbacks to like great music from the past. And there's a ton of really great people coming in. Universal does a great job of vetting these people, bringing them in, making it something exciting and something that you'll look forward to.
And the Music Plaza stage is right in front of the Hollywood Rip Ride Rocket roller coaster, which if you ever ride that, you get to hear the awesome playlist. And again, there's a secret playlist that you can get to. But if you ride that during the concert, that it's you're getting a ride experience that very few people get to ride, because you're getting that ride, but you're also getting the other music from the concert going on at the time. So it's a real neat thing that's going to be something that's kind of unique during Mardi Gras. And of course, at Universal Studios Florida, they have the tribute store that they change every couple of months, and it's kind of seasonal thing. And there is a Mardi Gras tribute store. That this is an attraction as much as it is a real retail location, and just the amazing decorations and everything set up. That even if you aren't going to buy anything and you have no money, it's worth going in just to look around. That it's entertainment itself, and it is part of the experience.
And it's the best place to get whatever little souvenir you're wanting. They have a ton of different options. And it like Matt said, it has a theme to it. They do a really good job of like kind of decking it out. Every little corner has something to look at, little hidden gems that you wouldn't necessarily think about. And they do it with every every different kind of holiday season. The tribute store kind of takes on a life of its own and kind of takes on whatever Universal's celebrating at the time.
Yeah, they do one for the holidays, like around Christmas. There's one for Halloween, and then they typically have the summer one varies. That they'll I know the one time they did a throwback to like 1980s movies with actually I think they were saying it was like 1980s with like Jurassic or excuse me, Back to the Future. But I think they also had like Jurassic Park and Jaws. So it was kind of like a 70s to 90s type thing. But the themes change and they redo it every year with a little bit of a different thing to it. Even the Christmas one will be different each year, or the Halloween one is different each year, and it's really creative. That they have a great team that works on those. Now, a really neat thing that they do during Mardi Gras is something called the Crew Crawl. So Crew, Krewe. That's one of the organizations that participates in and organizes the Mardi Gras parades and balls that they normally have in New Orleans. And basically, this is a scavenger hunt. It will cost about $10. There are 12 locations. And so it's basically you go around and you try to find where each of the locations is for each of the different crews. And like they're in some of the different stores or wherever else. And then the prize last year, if you went and you found all of them, it was a Mardi Gras mask. So
I love
that's
little
a neat
like
little thing.
I love these little like extra little things that you can go and do that kind of not only do you get like a prize from them, but you also get kind of like a different view of what the park is and places that you might not necessarily sought out. You get to kind of experience.
And it also encourages you to keep your eyes open for more things too, which is then going to reward you for seeing some of the little details that might not even just be Mardi Gras related, but just the normal things of, oh, I never noticed that they have that little sign there that's for this ride and it just fits in so perfectly, and just little nuances like that. So, and they do this also with around Christmas. They have the Christmas tree hunt with Earl the Squirrel that you can do too. So this
Love
is
the
kind of a
story of
running theme
Earl
with.
the Squirrel. I love that story. If you don't know the story of Earl the Squirrel, I encourage you to look it up. It is the funnest story of just kind of like a little kitschy, like little thing that happened that took on a life of its own that I don't even think Universal was expecting. It's really a cool story though.
And that's one nice thing that Universal does is that it's been other things too that like Boo the Pumpkin, that little things happen that just kind of take off, and Universal rolls with them and they make it part of, it becomes a tradition with them. And if you want to listen to the Universal at Hollywood or Studios during the holidays podcast, they came out in towards the end of October, that we talk about the whole Earl the Squirrel situation. Do you want to recap it now, Katie?
No, I don't want to take anything away, but I do love this story. I think it's so much fun. I actually did
Okay.
like a whole like social media post about Earl the squirrel and got like I fell down the you don't know squirrels they don't I mean they have holes in the trees and stuff, but I don't know if you fall down a squirrel hole. But anyways, I fell into it.
And so if Kay's not going to tell the story, I'm going to tell it again just because it's a fun story. That this was several years ago that there was one of the Christmas trees they had set up that they noticed that the lights were not working quite so well. And through investigation and trying to fix and all that stuff, they realized that there was a squirrel in there chewing on the power lines or
Can you
the line.
imagine? Can you imagine being the like the employee that came to your boss and was like, "Hey, there's a squirrel that's chewing on the lights," and they were like, "Uh-huh, yeah, right, whatever." No, really, there's a squirrel. He's chewing on the lights.
And this is not like the National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation thing when the cat's chewing on the lights. Although I saw a rug that had like the cat outline on it that they were selling. Oh my goodness. So yeah, this one had a happy ending for the squirrel, and even a happier ending that again Universal made Earl the Squirrel, and it's now a big thing. And and as the character Earl the Squirrel is in the park, he's kind of mischievous and causes a little bit of trouble, like the original Earl the Squirrel.
And King Gator from this, he has his kind of a life of his own too. Not the folklore that follows Earl the Squirrel, but they do a really good job of getting like little characters and stuff like that, and like to like tie everything together. It's very well themed and put together. I like the way that Universal handles things like that. I like that they have like original characters that aren't necessarily from a movie or anything like that, but are little extra things that you can only find during certain festivals.
And as Katie mentioned, they have the really cute little plush King Gators, and at the Mardi Gras tribute store, you can find them there,
That's right.
along with many other retail locations. But that's one place where you can really find them. And it's something special about buying the King Gator plush at the Mardi Gras tribute store. It just fits. It's like a rite of passage type thing. So, Katie, do you have a travel tip you would like to share?
Well, I'm kind of embarrassed to share this now that we've talked about my affinity for pastries. But at Universal City Walk, there is the Voodoo Donut shop. And this is like a donut shop that has a cult following. The first time I had Voodoo Donuts was in Portland. They are amazing. Some of them can be a little bit raunchy, but the Voodoo Donut Shop in City Walk has specialty donuts during Mardi Gras that you can only get during that time. And you can enjoy those as well. So if you're like walking out of the park for the day, or you just don't feel like you got every little sweet treat, or you just need something to bring back to your resort after you're done for the night, when you're like replaying all of the fun things that you did, you can go ahead and mobile order a Voodoo Donut. Don't be a sucker and stand in the long line. Go ahead and order your Voodoo Donut to go and bring it back and be the hero of your own story and have a donut to show for it. I also think that Universal is so much fun. There are so many things to do, see, experience, hotels to stay in, little tips and tricks. You would be missing out if you don't contact us to make sure that we can make a reservation for you, handle the details of your trip, and do the things that you want. The thing is about these trips is that if you start from scratch, they can be very overwhelming. But if you start with a travel advisor like Matt or myself, we are not starting from scratch. We have experience. We've gone there. We've done that. We've booked other clients, a variety of different families and different people. And so we can really help walk you through the steps and make sure that your trip isn't just something that you're like, wow, that was great. We want it to be something that's spectacular that you tell everybody about. So get with us so we can make your Universal trip something that is spectacular and full of fun and adventure.
And so, Katie, whenever you had your Voodoo Donut experience, by the way, they spell donut Doughnut. So no shortcuts on that one.
Right.
Was it in the original location in Portland?
Yep. Yeah.
Awesome.
So it was in the original location, and we had one that was bubblegum, so it was bright pink, and it had like the double bubble, that awful gum
Hmm.
you used to get when you were a kid that you love to have, and then like you chewed it for like 30 seconds and you're like, oh, this is awful. it we had that one and a few other ones, but yeah, it was the original one. Really, really great donuts. Like sometimes you're like, oh, original or something that's got like a lot of hype around it. You're like, oh, it's not as good as what you thought. These are great. They're really good.
Yeah, they give some kind of unique flavors and combinations of things. And the one that is very memorable for me is they have a kind of like it's like a voodoo doll thing. It's a jelly filled donut shaped like a person that has a pretzel stick stabbed like into the heart, and so
Yep.
you see like the would it be like strawberry jelly or cherry jelly, whatever it is, that it kind of can leak out a little bit. That's the type of thing that Katie was saying. That's kind of a little bit off the wall, but
Yeah.
they know their donuts.
Yep. And that's the thing is that you will go by this shop. It's bright pink, black lettering. Kind of has like a feeling of like kind of like a punk rock, like 80s, 90s like feel to it. And the line will be out the door. And so that's why at Universal you want to go ahead and mobile order. And they actually have, when we were there last year, they had a kiosk that was set up across from the shop, that they had the boxes of donuts that people had ordered, like sitting waiting for them to pick up, and they were full. It's quite a popular, delicious little treat.
Although another tip that was given on this podcast is if you stop by there in the evening when it's not quite so crowded, and then you get your donuts for the next morning,
Yeah,
that's a
you
great way
can
to start your
do
day.
that, but then you have to have self-control.
That's what I said too. And then I forget who gave the tip. It might have been Amanda Brown, that she said, "Oh no, you save it and for the next one." I was like, strong willpower.
I'm
So
glad
I'll
that
give it to
Amanda has more code control than I do. I would end up buying one box for now and then one box for later, and they would combine into one box for right now.
you.
One,
Yeah,
yeah, donuts on the way back on your Universal transportation back, a donut in the elevator because those could be a long ride, a donut as soon as you walk in, and then a donut in case you have a night where you're tossing and turning. Everything is better with a donut.
Of course. And I don't know if they do it at the Universal Orlando one. It's in Universal City Walk, by the way, that you can get married there too at some of the locations.
Yeah, I don't think they marry people there, but
Yeah, I know the original location you could.
yeah.
So, my tip. So, Mardi Gras is known for its revelry and its lack of rules, but as I mentioned before, that Mardi Gras in Universal Orlando is a family event. So, stay classy, Universal. Save that anything goes behavior for New Orleans, and even then, try to keep things under control because you actually want to try to remember your time at Mardi Gras. I know that living in a college town, the saying is, college is the best years of your life, but WVU is like often the number one party school in the nation, and you can definitely notice it. That I think some of the students here should, try to remember the best times of their life. But who am I to judge?
I love Universal's Mardi Gras. I think it is the funnest thing. I think that it is one of those little like it's hard to say, hey, go ahead and book a trip just to go do this, but really go ahead and book that trip. Go ahead and book that like getaway that you can escape the cold and the ick because January and February, they're kind of icky. No offense to anybody that's huge fans of it, but there's just something about having a trip booked during the January and February months where it's warmer that you can go ahead and go do something different. And this is a really great way to enjoy a kind of a fun adventure. It's like the cherry on top of a really great trip. If you get to go during Mardi Gras at Universal, it's just so much fun.
And since Mardi Gras goes to the end of March, if you're in some of the northern climate areas, March is really February too.
Yes.
The weather doesn't necessarily change. I know even in Pittsburgh, it's legendary that 1993 we had a giant snowstorm on St. Patrick's Day.
So March in Utah is kind of a teaser month where it'll be like, hey, go ahead and put that t-shirt on. You don't need a jacket. And then the next day it's 6 inches of snow on the ground and you're back to your snow boots.
Although sometimes once we get that nice warm weather, it's shorts from here on out. No matter what, it's positive thinking,
That's right. Well,
summer
yeah.
mindset. So, if you have a destination or an experience that you'd like to have us discuss on the Where Yinz Goin podcast, or if you'd like to share your favorite destination or travel tip, feel free to contact us. We'd love to hear your feedback and ideas. If you are already working with a Dreams by Design travel advisor, please continue to work with him or her. Otherwise, Katie, how can people get a hold of you?
You can get a hold of me on Facebook at Dreams by Design Travel with Katie. My Instagram is Katie Dreams by Design Travel, and my email is katie at dreamsbydesigntravel.com.
My social media, I am at Matt with DBD on Facebook, X, and Instagram. My email is Matt, M-A-T-T, at dreamsbydesigntravel.com. All this information will be in the episode description. So if you want to contact us to book a trip or have any questions, you know how to find us. You don't have to write it down right now or have a photographic memory. And you don't have to worry about spelling either. Please like, follow, subscribe, leave a review, tell a friend. If you like what you heard, please tell other people about it. We'd love to grow our audience. Katie, this was fun. I think
Yeah,
we
it's
should
so much fun talking about this.
get ready for Mardi Gras. By the way, Happy New Year, because this is airing right after New Year. So we get from one celebration jumping right into the next celebration that's happening in a month. So, yay.
So I hope that 2025 is full of like tons and tons of like grand adventures for our clients and for the people that we love.
And if you don't have those wonderful adventures planned, now's the time to plan them.
Yep. Get with
So,
us.
please join us next time. We're heading out in that. We'll see you later.